Hello and welcome everyone to episode 167 of One Piece at a Time, the One Piece read-through podcast where we read and discuss 5 chapters of the One Piece manga each and every week. I'm your host, Derrick, and I'm joined by a wonderful co-host and freelance letterer, Brandon Bovia. How you doing, Brandon?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm, of course, freelance letterer extraordinaire, Brandon Bovia. Always ready to talk about more One Piece, and we are like 2/3 of the way through Dressrosa.
Yeah. Is it just me? Like, we only had 2 chapters, I think, ish, of us in the present. And those 2 chapters made it feel like, oh, we're almost done.
Yeah. Like, once the flashback ends, it's kind of like, all right, we're wrapping it up.
Yeah.
It's
time to bring this to an end. Like, it really does feel like it, like almost
wild.
jarringly so. Like, it's all been well set up, but it's also one of those things like, oh, right.
Yeah, so I don't know if I was ready for it to end yet, certainly, like, there's still a few more twists and turns left that I know you're not expecting, but yeah,
I'm sure
fun
there's
to see how it all
some stuff there,
turns out.
but man, just on the whole, it's like certain fights feel like they've lasted longer than they should have, but other ones are like, oh, that's kind of, it's only been going on for a little bit, so it's it's interesting. But yeah, still excellent. And especially with the rest of the flashback, my God.
Yeah. So. Yeah. That really, I feel like it kind of is obvious, but maybe is worth kind of pointing out at this point. But like, if you didn't know already, like, this is why Law is like a huge fan favorite character.
Yeah, flashbacks will usually do that for a character.
Yeah. You got the gut-wrenching flashback, he's overpowered as all get out, and he's got a great dynamic with the crew. So this was kind of the, we were wondering, like, what the heck happened in Law's backstory to make him this way, and, we got all our answers. So
there it is. Amazing. Well, let's not waste any time. I'm excited to just get right to it with chapter 766, Smile. And we had our minds blown with this chapter.
I was like, what on earth?
Like, I was like, oh, we back to the animal chapters again looking at this, but then you read at the bottom is like the first letters of each menu sign spell out Naruto Otsukure. You read that. I'm gonna butcher that.
Naruto Otsukare-san deshita. Thanks for the great run, Naruto.
Yeah.
So this is celebrating the end of Naruto, which is, I was like, what? Wait, that can't be right. I was like, we're still a few years off from that, right? Like, but no, this is.
It is wild because I was like, I had to look it up because I was like, especially because the big 3 was Naruto, One Piece, Bleach. Like, that sort of invented the whole concept of the big 3. And no, it started after One Piece in 1999, so 2 years after One Piece, and then ended on November 10th, 2014. Wow. Like, that 2014 does that's over 10 years ago. That's 11 years ago. What the hell?
11 years ago. Yeah. I think maybe because this period of time is all kind of a blur in my memory. That Naruto and Bleach both ended while I was in college. So it is kind of I kind of grouped them in at around the same time. But I did remember that Naruto ended first. I was like, we're still a couple years away from that, right? But no, the fact that, Oda went out of his way to kind of draw I feel like one of the few, if not the only, like, series that he, commemorates.
Yeah, it doesn't
as it ends in Jump.
Too often. Like, we've seen it, like, it's funny enough that we did a bonus episode on the crossovers with Dragon Ball and Toriko.
Oh yeah, and Toriko.
But this is just a tribute, pure and simple.
Yeah.
And we were talking before we began how it was so funny that Bleach was announced as ending before Naruto as the final arc. Yep. And then Naruto beat it to the punch. Ended 2 years before that. And the thing, again, I put in the concept that's the timing of all this. I stopped at Punk Hazard, that point in Punk Hazard. I mentioned this before. And I could have swore I was still in college at the time, or maybe a little after college. Like it feels like around 2008. I don't know when Punk Hazard exactly was coming out, but it feels like around there. But maybe it's a little. I was reading it a little bit longer after that fact. I've sort of lost the concept of all time, and it's so funny to think how soon after I stopped reading One Piece that Naruto just ended, and
yeah, God, that's crazy. I literally just remembered that the final chapter of Naruto has a little odd nod to One Piece too.
Oh, really?
Because I don't know if we did. Did you finish Naruto?
No, I never did finish Naruto, honestly.
Oh, okay. So the last chapter is just like Boruto running around the town doing all of the like shenanigans that Naruto does in the first chapter, where he's like painting graffiti on the Hokage and whatever. And one of the things Boruto paints, I think it's literally on Naruto's part of the Hokage Mount Rushmore. He paints a little like a straw hat symbol.
That's pretty good. I do like this little cover page where you have Luffy eating the ramen and Naruto covered by Nami eating the meat.
Yes.
Like it's very obviously him, but you're kind of distracted by Nami, to be honest, because
with the Konoha, it's man, it feels it's so uncommon that I really just I love this. Once I realized what it was, I was like, oh,
amazing.
And then it's a hidden message too. I'm glad that the translation went out of their way to point that out, because I was like, there's no way it actually says that, and I'm like, Naruto Otsuka.
Amazing.
That's crazy. Yeah,
so good. But yeah, into the chapter itself. We're still we're still in this flashback.
Right. Time for pain.
Yeah. It is so funny to me. Like, we got this swallow island. Looks like a swallow. The island itself, like from above, is shaped like a swallow. Then you look at the island itself from the side, it's shaped like a swallow. Like, the theming of this island
happen?
Was on point.
How does it from like both the side and the top?
I could not tell you.
Because the swallow, it looks like the top looks like the side, but the side also, you know what? Never mind. I love it.
And we get to see a slightly younger Suru.
Yep.
When she was a vice admiral in her all-women crew, which is pretty fun. I like that. But she's basically like, what's up with Sengoku getting this info? And we're basically getting him back into the swing of things of what's going on with Corazon successfully getting the op fruit from those pirates, and they're all hunting for them, and stuff is going down, and we finally get see Corazon, and he successfully made it all the way back to Law, who is definitely in rough shape here, and it's like, hey, I got it. So don't worry about me. Don't worry about the fire and the gunshots and all that. Like, this is the fruit that will save your life. And Law's like, it's not going to cure my disease. Like, no, of course it will. Eat up. And he just shoves it down his mouth.
Yeah, I love how positive Corazon is during this. He's like, no, it's fine. It's like, this is the miracle cure we've been waiting for. And he's just like, And
it's like, I don't. He gets it. It's like, I don't know what to do.
Right? Yeah. It's just kind of like, what do I even do with this? And of course, Corazon rightfully, plops down. Law kind of turns him over, just like, oh god, he's bleeding.
Yeah, he's been shot quite a bit in this escape attempt. It's not looking good for him. He's like, hey, it's for the best. You can heal your own sickness. We beat Doflamingo to it. We won. But he's not going to stop there, so I got to ask you to do just one more thing. And that's when Law sees all the bullet holes, and it's like, what the hell's wrong with you? Why doing this? He's trying to use his powers, like, get better. Like, no, what's going on? Why isn't this working?
Yep.
He doesn't know how to use it.
Not magic. Yeah, which is, I think we talked about this a little bit last week, but I do really like the idea that, like, the op route is really busted, immortality notwithstanding, but, like, it says a lot that, like, it is through Law's, like, medical knowledge that gives the devil fruit, like, its abilities.
Which I like that it has that idea that you just can't eat it and bam, you're super powerful. Like, you need to know how it all works. And we did, of course, talked about this before, but still very cool. And Corazon's just like, hey, don't worry, this isn't enough to kill me, but I gotta stop the bleeding. In the meantime, there's on the West Coast, there's an island. There's a Navy scout ship. I need you to deliver this, even though it's in your state. But if you see any sailors, if any sailors see this container, they'll know what it means right away. So it's going to save a place far, far away, a kingdom called Dressrosa, which
is interesting. Yeah, we don't find out what's in that tube.
No.
I don't remember, so I'm really curious what it is. I imagine
it's basically just Doflamingo's plans.
Okay.
What they don't go into detail, but it's just like, this is what he's going to do to Dressrosa, which, considering, well, what happens, it never got delivered, so he was able to just act them out. So basically, everything Doflamingo did was his plan for Dressrosa.
Yeah.
Which is interesting to think that he was planning it for this long to get that all done. It wasn't just a spur of the moment type thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like that, when you consider everything that's like gone into taking over Dressrosa and kind of turning it into like, Doflamingo's criminal empire, like it kind of makes sense that, the Doflamingo, especially I feel like when we see him in this state where he's kind of like rising his way up the ranks, kind of just over here in the North Blue. I don't know. It makes sense that he would kind of have like longer term, greater ambitions.
Yeah, for sure. But here is probably the most tragic moment of all of it. Like, I saw this, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It's just, oh my God. Like a thing that was put in place so long ago, a connection that honestly I kind of forgot about, that explains the connection with Law before and makes that whole fight way different in context now that you got once you get the full context of this. But basically Law comes out, spots the Navy, sees one of them alone, and just goes up and says, "Hey, take this." And and you see who it is, and it's Virgo.
Yeah, I feel like there's a writing trope. I forget. There's something I remember from one of my like college like animation classes or whatever. But the idea that like, and it's something that Oda's very good at, is that like I think conveniences, when they work in favor of like the protagonists, can feel very contrived and very kind of cheap. But like conveniences that like get the characters into trouble make for like, good storytelling.
Yeah.
So we have a 1 in a million odd chance that
the one person,
the exact wrong person,
like the exact wrong person. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, not only that it's Virgo that he hands off the Dressrosa plans to. It's Law just like bawling and asking for help, being like, I need your help. Somebody got shot. He's gonna die soon. I don't want him to die. And then, he brings them all the way over here, and he's just gonna like, Cora, I found someone to help you. And they both, they see each other, and poor Corazon breaks cover by, shouting out Virgo.
Yeah, and it's like, because Virgo's initially concerned. It's like, you look awful. Wait, you just spoke. And that's when he realizes, he infiltrated. And that's
that was the top secret mission. Yeah,
he destroys it, opens it up, sees what it's actually saying, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, you're a traitor," and just starts beating the hell out of him.
Yeah.
And poor Law tries to stop him. He's like, he realizes like, "Oh, Virgo, I recognize Virgo. That's bad. Yep. I need you to just like stop, please." And that's when we get the whole thing is like, no, you refer to me as Mr. Virgo. And it's like, that goes again, ties back to the whole Punk Hazard stuff.
Yeah, no, this in retrospect makes that dude, he one shot Virgo. I wanted to make that clear. Like that was already maybe one of the coolest moments in the entire manga, but it definitely feels a lot more satisfying knowing that he basically ruined everything.
Oh yeah, and then he cut him up, left him behind, and then the whole thing got blown up behind him. So like he took care of Virgo, which is that's wild in and of itself. Like it makes the whole idea that he's probably not going to get a win against Doflamingo. That's definitely going to be Luffy's win. But damn, at least he got this win to avenge Corazon. So.
Definitely.
But then he beats up Corazon, and it's just like, I sniffed out quite a big rat in our midst. You disappeared one day at the age of 8 and didn't reappear again until 14 years later. And the flamingo never suspected because you were his brother. And yeah, that's when he reports in as like, hey, he betrayed you. And oh man, that's basically he's like, yeah, I the way this all worked out, I knew it. He's like, definitely knew. Again,
yeah, and that.
Oh no! Just again, I'm looking at the spread out of all the people and his crew. It's like, damn, that's a good wide shot of the oval.
Yeah, it really is. The Doflamingo side of things is like, they're trying to take care of business. They're trying to look for the op fruit, and they're just like, Doflamingo's basically found out that the fruit got stolen, and so he's putting things together. Corazon must have stole it. Make sure he doesn't get away, and then not now that. We're seeing Doflamingo's basically like I don't know, not the first, but basically he unleashes the bird cage, which is you can kind of infer that's why Law knew what it was.
Yeah, especially because Law he thinks he doesn't know Law has the op fruit, but he knows Corazon does, and especially because he got out of town and unleashes the bird cage, which again sets up how he knows about that. And I like the detail that it's not as strong. You can see in the time. Over the years, how much stronger Doflamingo has gotten. That the birdcage can cover an entire country. Here, it's just a section of an island. So
yeah, that's a good point. I didn't realize that. So we're kind of as we wrap up the chapter here, we kind of Corazon's kind of like, well, I'm about to die, so I can at least, if I can manage at least a free Law, and so. He seems to be acting with a plan of his own, and he's, of course, God, they're both just like bloodied and beaten out, and this whole kind of like final sacrifice he's about to do, and Corazon's just got like, if you ever look back on your memories of me, I want you to remember my smile. He's got this goofy,
and then he just has the goofiest,
smile.
Most disturbing smile that you could imagine.
I love this man. I love Corazon.
Corazon's pretty great.
Yeah.
Heartbreaking chapter.
Definitely.
Chapter. But we're not done. We got more heartbreak ahead.
Yeah, more pain.
Let's get this chapter 767, Cora. And we're back with Jinbei's mystery, where he's trying to put things together. We got this mountain of offerings, the appearance of the ruins, and some furious sea creatures. And the offerings are now gone. So I was like, there's some sort of sea god causing trouble with all this.
Yeah. Or something that stole some, a tribute. I don't know.
Something like that. I don't fully know what's going on, but I think I got a basic idea.
Yeah.
It's interesting, but man, this opening bit for the next chapter is wild. Where
it is, right?
Oda never comes out and says it. You can just piece it together. Where apparently, even at this age, Doflamingo is already friends with Virgo and Treble.
Treble?
Yeah. And the people that were torturing them, that wanted to put an end to these his family. Got taken out because his Haki of the Supreme King activated. So they all passed out.
Yeah.
And, his father is grasping Corazon or, Rocinante. And he's just mad at his father. It's like, why did you steal even my power from me? And that's when it looks like Treble is almost like a father figure to him. I didn't even think about this. It's like, I can give you the power to enact vengeance.
Yep.
So
yeah, that's wild when you think about it, because like, oh man,
Treble almost seems to be the devil on his shoulders, like even more so to a degree.
Yeah, I guess I didn't realize it until kind of we're in this flashback. It could just be like Oda's art. He looks like he might be the oldest one here.
He went over the ages before, and I forget how old he said Treble was. He's definitely older than Doflamingo, though.
And I guess that's interesting too, because you would have thought that, like, I guess the relationship here is maybe not quite what you think it is. Where all we've seen is Doflamingo kind of, clearly the leader, clearly in control. But now we have, this scene kind of earlier on in the relationship where it seems like Treble, like, immediately notices, like, oh, he's got the haki of the Supreme King. Like, I can maybe mold this boy, into something.
Yeah. It puts a little bit more importance on Treble than I would have ever thought.
Yeah,
and now I have to sort of pay attention to that because...
Yeah.
He's just always sort of been there, but not as like a side character. Definitely like powerful, but...
Yeah. I guess it's certainly really telling that, like, out of all of the officers, like, in the kind of the current day story, current day timeline, that, like, he's the one fighting alongside Doflamingo.
Yeah.
Yeah, which you maybe wouldn't have expected first off, that to be like, oh, he's the one. Who's kind of, 2v1ing Law currently. But more importantly, Doflamingo's about to blow his father's head off.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's tragic. Like, his father is cradling Rocinante. Doflamingo's upset behind him, has a gun to his head, the back of his head, and his father's final words are, "I'm sorry you had me as a father." And just shoots him like, oh my God.
Yeah. I feel like that's definitely going back to the sort of, like, his nature is inherently evil. The way that he was talking to the townspeople as they were burning him and his family at the stake, where he was the only one who was like, I will enact my revenge.
Jeez.
No.
You feel for Corazon.
You feel for Corazon, who just watched his father get shot before his eyes. And I feel like you really understand the kind of twisted life that Doflamingo's had from the start.
No kidding. Oh, I can't even, I can't, it's hard to even fathom.
Yeah. Very much so.
Yeah, but the bird, we'll go to future flashback, current day flashback, or whatever, however you want to put it. And it's the same thing where it's impossible to get in. The people are being controlled and attacking each other. And what is up with this character? That is because it's a character named Dree. Mm-hmm. It's like, help me, can't you do something about this cage? It's just this random kid. And
I think I know what this is. Oh, I think it will explain something slightly later.
Okay. Like,
I
know
think that's all that is.
He serves a purpose, but I don't know if it's like, should I know this boy? Or
No. I think it is literally like just for the thing in this chapter.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think he's an important, like, otherwise named character.
Yeah.
I mean, he's named, but you know what I mean. I guess it's more than you would expect for, like, just some random guy.
Yeah, it's somebody named Dree is like, disappearing just when I need him the most. Tougher than anyone in a fight, but cursed with cowardice, which reminds me of the one of the Funk Brothers.
Yeah. Although, now I'm thinking there's probably, like, an SBS in, like, 200 chapters that'll be like, oh, yeah, that guy? Oh, yeah, you had no idea.
There's some, like, just mentioning this boy's strength is like, no, there's something. I feel like there's still something to this kid.
It's oddly specific.
Yeah.
Certainly. Yeah. I certainly don't know what sort of use Oda has for him outside of the context of this chapter.
Not a clue. But Doflamingo is, he's just shooting everybody because he kills the leader of the Barrels Pirates. So they're done. Yeah. They're taking all his treasure.
I wanted to acknowledge that, like, the Doflamingo's fit goes so hard here, man, with the all black and suit with the, white in manga terms, but we know it's pink, but, like, just like the color contrast going on here, it's very cool.
Yeah, he's always looked good. I gotta admit, he just had this coolness factor to him.
He's got that fashion sense.
It's also interesting how much Buffalo has grown in comparison to Baby 5, because she still looks really young and he's almost fully grown.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Because when we saw them when they were both around the same size when they were, like, earlier on in the flashback. So I guess he had, like, a growth spurt.
Yeah, I guess.
Huh.
But
that's crazy.
Baby Five is listening in on signals and finds out that the Navy has sheltered someone, and that's when they report it. It's like, oh, they've found Corazon. And interesting point here as well. I think that's Pika reporting that they found Corazon, but it's not a squeaky voice indicator.
Oh,
did he get a squeaky voice later?
Well, we know
they mentioned his squeaky voice before, so I think it might just be an error.
Yeah, it could be.
So, but there's Corazon running around outside catching Gladius's attention.
He's like, he's the decoy.
He's like, okay, this is the blind spot of the pirates. They won't find you as long as you stay put. So that's, he lulls in someplace and he can't get it to open. And he just hears everything. It's like, why did you fool us into thinking you couldn't speak? It's like, well, because I have nothing to say to the likes of you. And, they're basically like, yeah, no, we're going to beat the hell out of this guy because
Lol is listening to Corazon get beat up.
And that's when Doflamingo shows up and just like staring at him. Has those veins that you can definitely tell that he's not happy.
Pissed. Yeah.
And we find out that the reason he has that Corazon has a connection to the Navy is because he was found by Sengoku.
Yep. And
that's when he reveals to all of them, it's like, no. Navy HQ Commander Rocinante Doflamingo, captain of the Don. It basically is like, yeah, I'm a naval commander, Navy man. I'm here to arrest you.
Yeah, and I like that he kind of whispers, "I'm sorry for lying." I just didn't want you to hate me. So he understands that, like, yeah, the lying to young Law was, you know why he did it. I'm glad that they went out of their way to do that.
It's nice, but it's also like, I love this thing from Law. It's like, I knew that ages ago. Like, why?
Yeah. He saw right through it.
And of course, Doflamingo wants to know, where's Law? Where's the Op fruit? And he's like, oh, I fed the Op fruit to Law. He's already got the powers, and I made sure he was well outside of the cage. So he's probably under the full protection of the Navy by now. So you can't have him. And that's when they had the thing. It was like, oh yeah, we picked up a Navy call saying they were sheltering a boy. And even Corazon's like, well, that's a coincidence. I'll take that.
Yeah, right. This is a really interesting bit of dialogue to me, where he's like, Corazon thinking to himself, he's like, I knew it, Law. You're being kept alive. Time after time, God sends you a hand of salvation. Which, is that the D at work? Was my first thought.
Maybe it's the D at work.
Because well, God, that's the crazy thing. Because obviously we've seen characters who have the D, right? Like they can die.
Oh yeah, we've seen that with Saul, Jaguar D. Saul, and Ace now. So.
Yeah, Ace and Gold Roger. Many such cases. But I also like that moment in Loguetown sticks out in my head for like so much. The way that like a Luffy, is about to get executed by Buggy, and he just gets like struck by lightning, just completely out of nowhere.
It's like they have to accomplish something important before they can die.
Yeah, and that's not even like, I don't even know if it's necessarily like an association with the D, but it's just kind of one of those things that's like, what, like how strong is the hand of fate here?
I don't know.
Yeah, and I guess that's the other thing too, because there's some dialogue later on in the set that I think kind of, I feel like it's sort of an interesting theme. The further we'll get along in the manga, the sort of the idea of fate, but of also like self-determination, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, there's clearly something at play here, but like these characters still have agency. Which is a
which I've liked, because I don't like the idea of like, oh, he was fated to have this happen. It makes it
yeah, definitely.
And man, you got some interesting dialogue from Doflamingo as well. It's like, well, if he's already eaten the op fruit, I'll need to raise him so that he knows to die for my sake, which puts some interesting context into his crew.
Right. Well, I think in this case it's because he has the op fruit and because he wants the immortality surgery.
Oh, that's right. He wants him to be so committed to him that he's willing to use the immortality aspect of it.
I think so. Yeah. I don't think it's as simple as like, oh, everybody's my pawn. I think it is simply like, well, now that he has it, like his one purpose should be to give it to me.
yeah. And he just like pulls out his gun. It's like, you just had to go and screw everything up. Why did you come back just to mess with me? Why must I be forced to kill my own family not once but twice? And I love how it's forced. He was not forced to do anything.
Forced to kill, right? Yeah, and that God, that's such a good observation too, because it really shows how Doflamingo sees things. And God, there's another moment like that too later on, where it's like you kind of have you understand how he sees things, and it is very much like a very warped view of the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we get this last little bit where the explanation is like, when a pirate see a treasure chest, they will always take it back to the ship. It's what they do. So long as you stay in there, you'll get the chance to escape. So don't miss it. And he's like, well, Law's asking, what about you? He's like, oh, don't worry. Dofi just wants you and the fruit. I'm his brother by blood. He'll be furious, but I'm sure he won't kill me. But now, he pats him on the head so that any noise he makes will be silenced. So you can slip away and we'll meet up at the next town. And before he goes away, he gives them one last smile and with a "I love you," which
it's the deeply cursed smile. But knowing that's the let's not mince words here. That's the last that he sees of him is brutal.
Yeah. It's like the Law's like, you said he wouldn't kill you. It's like, no. and Corazon has complete faith in Doflamingo, where he's just like, no, Law's not going to follow your lead, Dofi. He overcame his fate that he would die within 3 years. He's not the same Law who was out of his mind and wandered into the midst of the mad pirates. He has nothing to gain from you, the incarnation of destruction. So just let him go. He is free.
There's that free again.
Mm-hmm. And with that, Doflamingo shoots him, and it's over. It's just the flashbacks of the moments where they were bonding together with know, Law is distraught, knocking on the chest.
Yeah. Sorry.
Well, I was the same, but he's crying like this, but nobody can hear it because of the silent fruit.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing that got me, because you said it's over, and it's like, it's not quite over yet. True. And that's what, like, the realization of what this was got me. Where, Corazon is out, bleeding in the snow, and he's like, not yet. I gotta live a little bit longer. Once I do, once I go, the magic spell I put on you will wear off, and your sounds will echo once again. And so, like, he's just thinking to himself, just walk, Law, real quiet so nobody notices. And you see Law, he gets out of the treasure chest. He's walking in the opposite direction of, the rest of Doflamingo's crew.
Still and he's, crying.
He's crying and nobody can hear him. And then, Tsuru's battleship catches up, battling breaks out, cannon fire and all that stuff. And it's as Corazon dies, as he passes on, he says to Law, you are free. It's once he dies, that is when Law starts, you can hear his crying, but it is overshadowed from like the cannon fire.
Cannon fire, all of them are like, watch out, we got to get out of here. So nobody pays attention to him. And
it's brutal.
Oh, it really is. Like, my God, what an ending. Like, it's beautiful use of the calm fruit.
Yeah. The way that it sort of, again, just symbolizes his last moments.
Yeah. I'm sure that I hope this is one thing the anime kind of pulled off.
Yeah. I feel like that the emotional
with sound,
hits,
the
backstories, with sound, it probably hits pretty hard.
Yeah, I would hope so. Oh goodness, but that's how the chapter ends. So, whew. Yep. Let's get to chapter 768, The Trigger That Day, and okay. The ruin just fell. Like another ruin fell. The land on the other ruin that has another thing falling. Like what? And I don't know what's going on. Like there's some sort of mystery.
I think it's a knock upstream.
Could be a knock upstream. Be a knock upstream.
That's my guess. I literally don't remember.
I got nothing.
The way that this sort of clearly something underwater up, and then there's a piece falling down. I don't know.
Is it weird to say that I'm I think I was enjoying Idiot more, the last one, more than this.
Oh yeah. I agree.
What's his? Oh, I'm blanking on his name all of a sudden.
Yeah, me too.
Because he's out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, right. It's just, Caribou.
Caribou. I was
There
like,
it
he's
is.
an
There it
animal.
is.
Like, I gotta
Jeez.
remember
Yeah.
that. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's like Volume 15. We were having way more fun with Caribou, and this like the
this
mystery is
fine.
interesting.
It's just,
but because of the lack of dialogue, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, and it's kind of slow going so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that last bit there did mark the end of the flashback, and that's so we go right into this, and Law's just like, he wants to be free. The moment I become free is the moment your hopes are fulfilled. The moment I stop Doflamingo, and we're into straight up fight between these two.
Yep.
And
I really like the dialogue during this first part of the fight where Law kind of we have this interesting kind of like different takes on like the D superstition, where, you know, Law's like, what do you make of Monkey D. Luffy? Like, today, you know, for the first time I learned you were a celestial dragon. What do you make of the D?
Which is interesting because that's the whole reason Corazon kidnapped him. He's like, he heard he was a D. He's like, oh no, you can't be around Doflamingo. And Doflamingo, as we'll see later, downplays it, but there must be something to it. It kind of reminds me of Frieza in a way, where Frieza was very much just like kind of afraid of the Saiyans and the legend
and
of
afraid
the
of
Super
like
Saiyan,
the Super Saiyan. Yeah, very much so.
but acts like he's not. He's like, I'm going to make sure this doesn't happen no matter what. So that's fascinating. It also would explain why he's taken such an interest in Luffy and how he works.
Yeah, and the way that he's like, you know, like, are you trying to say that Straw Hat Luffy was guided by fate to come after, you know, one with the blood of gods in his veins? Nonsense. And I wanted, like, particular shout out, like, the choreography in this section is really good.
Oh yeah, I wanted to mention
this is a really cool fight. Yeah.
Like, Law tossing a rock on the other side of Doflamingo as Doflamingo's going to attack him, so he can use Chombre to swap the two of them and then do a backward stab into Doflamingo's back. But Doflamingo is so aware that he just moves to the side, catches the sword using his hockey, still causes him to bleed a little bit, but, you know, obviously negates most of it, and just tosses him away, holding on to his sword. Like, good God.
Yeah.
Like, this is a brutal fight.
Yeah. And then just that last little bit where Law's like, I'm a D2. That face from Doflamingo, and he's just kind of like...
He's like, what? Oh, no.
Yeah.
This ain't good.
Yeah.
And this is pretty much the part that it's like, okay, we are definitely getting close to the end because we have...
It's fight time.
Viola here watching everything, and they're like, how goes it? And it's like, well... At the top, Straw Hat has been knocked down to the lower floor, and Law is being overpowered by Doflamingo. And we get this amazing side view of how much they've traveled and what's all come up out of the middle of here. We can still see the Colosseum, which is already massive. You get to see where the palace was in the first place. You get to see the Smile Factory, how the Pika statue is, and then the whole Flower Hill thing. It's like, this is like, I like how we have 4 very distinct locations.
Yeah, and very kind of... The thing that Punk Hazard was kind of missing for the back half is very notable landmarks. Yes.
And the chaos is still happening throughout the city. Navy men trying to get it all under control. Usopp is very much exhausted. It's like asking, you know, how many officers are left? And that's when we get the breakdown. And the realization that a lot of the matchups are kind of set, it feels like.
Yeah, I think so. I think this is it.
Yeah. Because we got Senor Pink at the Smile Factory, which of course is fighting Frankie. We got, you know, Zoro versus Pika. I like how we also get a breakdown of their powers. The free swimmer, Senor Pink. The Stone Assimilation Man, Pika. Then there's, of course, the Flower Hill fighting Kyros. Is Diamante, the Flag Man. At the top of the palace is the String Man, Doflamingo, as well as a confirmation. It's Mucus. It is just a Mucus Man that Trouble is.
Gross.
Also, very much not one of his top men. It's his chief of staff. It's like, it really does seem like Trouble is his second in command.
Interesting. Yeah, because I kind of... I would have assumed that like Treble, Diamante, and Pika were all kind of on the same level.
You'd think, but apparently not.
Yeah.
So,
which I guess considering that Treble, his duty was to guard Sugar, I guess that makes sense. That like you know he's the second in command, so you put him kind of in the most important job.
Yeah, that does make sense. And then, of course, we got the third floor with Rupture Man Gladius and his followers. On the second floor, there's 4 officers. Lao G and his Geofish martial arts, so no devil fruit there. He's just martial arts. Dellinger, the fighting fish man hybrid. So he's kind of like, it made me think like, oh, I'd love to see Koala being shown as really powerful and fighting Dellinger and beating him with Fishman karate.
Man. That would actually be super sick.
That'd be really cool. And of course,
also, have we seen Fishman hybrids before?
No. Is he actually a fishman? Like part fishman? I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought it was just, I just assumed it was part of his fighting style, not that.
Oh, right. Like that maybe he just knows fishman karate.
Yeah. That was my guess. Not that he's, because there's nothing about him that appears fishman-like.
Right, yeah.
So, yeah. But yeah, then there's Baby 5 and Mock Vice, who's a super weight man. So those are 10 officers. And then we, of course, get into what the fight actually is going on. And it seems like Frankie's starting to get the upper hand because the girls are crying and like they're still getting. He took the hit because he was protecting a cat.
Yes, and even Frankie he sheds a tear. I love every time we cut back to this fight. There's something stupid happening,
and I love it so much. Oh God. Of course, Zoro versus Pika, and even she declares like the conclusion cannot be far off.
I do like the detail that it seems like Robin's going on ahead.
Yeah, I wonder who she's going to end up fighting, if anybody.
Yeah, because I guess if she's going up, that would be with that's Flower Hill, right? So that would be with Rebecca and Heroes.
That's true.
Yeah.
And it looks like the one fighting Gladius is Cabbage. Cavendish.
Yeah. Oh, also, Cavendish saying, these weak attacks of yours are putting me to sleep. Uh-oh.
Oh. That ain't good.
All right.
Uh-oh.
All right. It's time.
Oh, gosh. Man, I'm really looking forward to seeing the full fight between Kyros and Diamante.
Yeah, that one's gonna be satisfying. It has to be.
And I completely forgot about the Dentatas searching for Mancherry.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, that seems like that's like a D, E, F plot at this point. There's so many other things happening.
And at this point, Koala and why am I blanking on his name? Sabo, my God. They're throwing a lot of characters at me all at once.
There's so many characters running around right
now.
The
fact that I forgot Sabo's name is really upsetting to me. But I do like he says, hurry for safe round, if there even is such a thing.
Yeah. What it truly is safe right now.
Mm-hmm. But the Gladiators are definitely getting really taken down by Dellinger and Mock Vice.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess it is. I was like, who is Elizabeth Bello fighting?
Just generally them.
Yeah, maybe he's charging up.
Yeah, it could be that, or he's just fighting the mooks at this point.
I also, you already know with there's this bit with Baby 5 and is that Sai or Boo? One of the two.
That's Sai, I think.
Okay, yeah. Or you're just like, or she's like, what did you just say? And it's like, you already know where this is going.
Also wild to see Laoji taking down Danchin Zhao.
Yeah, who we've seen is quite powerful.
Yeah, it's like, wow. But yeah, Viola's basically like, yeah, all those fights are happening, but if we don't defeat Doflamingo, we're not going to get out of this birdcage. And that's when we go back to the Law versus Doflamingo fight. He's like, so you're a D, a hidden name then. And again, I'm paying more attention to Tribble now. He's like, are you trying to say that it was fate that brought you here? And Tribble's like,
Right. He seems to know something.
Yeah, it's the most serious he's ever really looked.
Yeah.
And Yeah, it's like, oh, you think being a D means you can stop me? That enemy's claptrap is a superstition, nothing more. Again, very Frieza levels. And
yeah. And he loses his cool.
Yeah, he absolutely does. He's like, yo, you're inside Law's power range, and that allows Law to do the injection shot, getting a pretty good hit on him.
Yep.
So he's like, nah, Cora knew that having a measly name wouldn't help me beat you. But that was the catalyst. Cora was too kind-hearted to pull the trigger that day, so I've come to do it for him. That's all. It's just like, again, it's basically breaking down, okay, here's all your fights. Here's all the...
Yeah. Here's all your fights. Yep, yeah. And I sort of... It's hard to say what this is, like, definitively, but my sort of interpretation of this is very much like... It's like fate... Maybe, I don't know, however this sort of D thing works, the will of D or whatever, like, it seems like it's sort of putting things in place, but is not, like...
It's not a guarantee.
It's not a guarantee, right? Like, you still... The way that Law is just, like, you know, like, I've come to do what Corazon couldn't. You know, it feels very much like... I don't know if he's sort of like inheriting the will of Corazon of like I'm going to do this.
These are people willing to challenge the world.
Yeah, yeah. It seems like again like there's this funky mix between fate and destiny, but also like self-determination. Like I said before, of like you know these characters still have to make the choices to act.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's such a funky thing, and it's like at this point we are simultaneously learning more and sort of kind of getting more stuff implied about the will of D, but still know nothing about it. Like this is the most we've gotten, but it still feels like nothing. And I'm throwing all this stuff out because I also don't know.
yeah. I'm not surprised. This is like. Beyond the One Piece, this is probably the most closely guarded secret up Oda's sleeve.
Definitely. There was not to play my hand too closely, but there was a sequence fairly recently in the manga where we were like this close to hearing what the D was, and that was like after so many other like bombs got dropped, the D was the one thing that was like
So, of course.
Yeah. So it's just kind of like. Not yet.
Nope. Gotta wait. We do have an SBS before we move on, though, where, you know, somebody's like, oh, the symbol on the back of Law's jacket says Corazon. Is this referring to Law's beloved Cora, or does it mean that Law's jacket was custom made? It's like, yes. Corazon is Spanish for heart, which makes sense. And while this is Cora's code name within the organization, it also makes sense for the captain of the Heart Pirates to wear it. And also with the fact that Law's powers make him the Surgeon of Death, who's able to remove the hearts of others. While this might make the symbol seem frightful to the rest of the world, naturally Law's wearing it as a tribute to Cora. So that's I like the layers there. That's well, fun.
And that's the exact opposite of the next answer, where when we kind of talked about this before. It was like, oh yeah, you know, did you name Rocinante? You know, did it come from the novel by Cervantes? Where it's just kind of like, Oda's like, I felt like it. Yeah, basically. It's like, yeah, you know, it's from the novel, you know, Don Quixote. It's just like, yeah, I just felt like it.
Yeah, you know, here's your detailed explanation for it. Or it's just like it sounded cool.
Yeah, which is fair enough.
Yeah, all right. All right, chapter 769, Bellamy the Pirate. And this time we got Jinbei going after a shadow that vanishes into the depths, which makes me hopeful that, we're going to start getting some answers.
Yeah, let's start moving things along.
Please.
Yes.
Oh gosh, but yeah, get in that range where the Law gets a good hit in, and you can see a section of the entire castle getting cut up, and allowing him to manipulate it to just basically slam into Doflamingo. But he uses his spider web to block it and break it into a bunch of pieces. But then Law takes those pieces and starts jamming it at him. And
this is a great fight.
Good, my God, this is just incredible.
I feel like in terms of scale, like this is, at least in terms of like a 1v1, this feels like some of the biggest stuff we've ever seen. Like,
yeah,
it feels almost like Marineford like.
Very much so. And the crazy thing is that Doflamingo didn't. No, not Law did not want to fight Doflamingo himself. He just wanted to let Kaido take care of him. And oh no, that's how strong he thinks Doflamingo is, and might even be. I don't know, but yeah. I love this where it seems like he has it where he's going for the scalpel. Scalpel definitely trying to take Doflamingo's heart, but Doflamingo stops him. He's like, no, don't repeat
He
sex.
just grabs him. He just catches it.
It's like, are you really trying to be one of those fools that thinks they can get by on guts and intensity?
It's that Luffy influence.
Yeah, very much so. It's like, if you truly wanted to kill me, you would have seen out your plan to pit Kaido against me. There are plenty of ways to get rid of someone you can't match on your own, but you let your feelings for Corazon override it all. The instant you decided you just had to get back at me personally was the instant your death was inevitable. And yeah, he starts talking about the note that Corazon tried to send. And he's trying to save Dressrosa, and he tries to put all the blame on him. It's like, if you hadn't screwed up, these countless tragedies might never have occurred. And I love this clapback from Law. Oh, yes. So even you consider them to be tragedies.
Which is just, got him. Oh yes. And then even Doflamingo's like, oh, very calm, very clever, good point.
Yeah, got him instead. He knows how to play it.
Yeah.
But he's like, no, I still would have gone for this. It just would have, changed the actual plan. And this is brutal. He pulls out a string that goes from his pant leg to his leg to his foot, pulls out Law's arm, sets it there, and just slices it right off.
Yeah,
like it is. That's
I feel like
rough.
One of the more creative, it's like one of those like hidden blades, like, I don't know, something you'd see at like an Assassin's Creed or something, like one of those foot blades. I guess we've seen so many big scale like uses of Doflamingo's abilities that like something as simple as like, oh, he could just like spawn a blade out of his leg. It's just kind of subtly brutal. Yeah, the
string saw, because Law's trying to be like, I represent everything. Everything I do until the moment I die represents what Cora achieves. So, he's that into it. And again, just that scene of him with his arm separated, which, let's be fair, I'm not too concerned. Like, once he's okay, I feel like he'll be able to get that arm back one pretty okay.
Yeah. But still in the moment, like, it
looks awful.
It's one of the more brutal. I feel like you don't see folks getting their arms cut off too often in One Piece, or like not in a cartoony way. Like this is in a very bloody way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this just gets Doflamingo laughing in his cruel way. It's like, even the fact that you're influenced by the other D to challenge me directly is reality now. It happened, so I forgive you for it. The same way I forgave my brother and father with death. And again, it's like, it's just not an execution unless you use hot lead. It's just like,
again, it's personal. And the thing that saves Law is the fight currently happening under them, where Luffy jet gatlings the Doflamingo clone up to the upper level.
Completely takes care of it. And it's just like, and again, Treble, not concerned about it. It's like, the double got torn to bits, and he's laughing about it. It's like,
right, yeah, just like, hey, Bellamy's still there.
There is something about Treble.
Yeah, but, right. I feel like the fact that he's not getting involved in this fight at all is really interesting.
Yeah, I didn't really pay attention to it at all. I thought it was just sort of background commentary, but the more I see this, it's like,
It does feel more suspicious, doesn't it?
It does. It really does.
It's really all thanks to that flashback scene where it felt like he was the one, again, he was kind of the devil on the shoulder, like that he was kind of the one who gave Doflamingo the push.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, what is he?
And then we get the tragedy of Bellamy.
Right.
He's basically like, hey, stop controlling him. He's going to die. And Doflamingo's like, oh, you're still alive? Fine. And he releases him. He's like, all right, you've done enough. I'm setting you free, just like you have been. And he gets his flashback where they first met. It's like, hey, we're from Nordis. That's a rich city. What's your problem then? It's like, well, I hate that boring old stuffy town. But Don Quixote family is the pride of the North Blue. We just want to be a legit pirate crew, just like you guys. And that's when Doflamingo, interestingly, like, he'll accept like Baby Five and Buffalo and Law, but he's like, no, I'm lending you the use of our symbol. But if you lose to anyone, you're giving it back. So it's like that disconnect here.
Is he really? Yahoo! He's like, boy, gee willikers. I feel like there's something about, and I think Doflamingo kind of cuts through to like, he kind of understands what Bellamy is, right? And the way that you mentioned, like, yeah, he's very different. Like with with Baby Five, with Buffalo, with Law and stuff. Where it's like these were kids who came up, presumably from like really effed up circumstances, and so the way that he's like, oh, Bellamy's just he's a bored rich kid.
Yeah, and
basically,
as Oda himself says in a upcoming SBS in this section, is just like Doflamingo places a pretty high value in somebody's past and where they came from. Mm-hmm. So the fact that it's just bored rich kids, that means nothing to him.
Right,
There's no connection.
He's just like, I'm not going to take you under my wing. He's just going to like, here, you can use my name, but like, if you screw up even once,
Yeah.
And then just the way that these scenes are sort of like interposed where, like in the current time, Luffy's like, like, hey, Bellamy, are you okay? And he's like, well, I guess not. And you flash him back to Jaya. The age of pirate pipe dreams is over. And Luffy, that first time he bops him on the head.
Which he represents that first loss. I won't lose to nobody. He lost to Luffy.
Yeah. And then, just the return in Dressrosa is like, I don't hold nothing against you. You've changed Bellamy. Like, sort of, it is wild how much characterization we're getting for Bellamy, man.
Yeah, you would not think
the way this like D-tier scrub, just like you feel really bad for him. The way that like Luffy in this moment is just like really concerned for him.
Yeah, he's like, hey, you stay here, be safe. I'm gonna go take care of Doflamingo for you too. And that's when Bellamy's just like, hey, you remember this move? And he starts using his spring hopper to bounce all around. He's like, you've gotten stronger, but so have I. The destructive power of this move is far greater than before. And Luffy's just like, stop that. You're just going to hurt yourself. And Bellamy can't take it. It's like, you stop feeling concerned for your enemy. I understand that I chose the wrong man to idolize and how pitiful that makes me, but I don't want to be pathetic enough to lash out at the man I chose to follow just because his answer wasn't what I wanted to hear. If I'm going to be an idiot, I've got to see that choice through to its end. And he's crying during all this. This is my final battle, Straw Hat, so indulge me.
Which I can, oh man, I feel, I won't even say conflicted, because like over the years, I kind of understand Bellamy's perspective here. Like at first, when I first read this, I was like, oh, come on, man, really? But like, to me, this really feels like, again, sort of like that freedom, right? Like that agency that Bellamy has never had. Mm-hmm. And that like in this one moment where he has the freedom to make a choice for himself, and that like, he understands like the life that he's lived up to this point. And that at this point, this he doesn't want pity. He just wants to see this through to the end. Just to
something to
have the
his
agency
choice.
To have the agency to make this choice for his own. And so even if it is dumb, and I feel like we all kind of know where this is gonna go. But I think the fact that like Luffy doesn't want to do it, and the fact that Luffy's just kind of like, no, man, this is dumb. Like you don't have to do this. So I like this for what it is inevitably like Luffy's gonna do something he doesn't want to do.
Even Bellamy knows this is a dumb move, but it's just feels like it's what he's just locked in to do. Yeah.
And I think you can understand, like, I guess in sort of like a sunk cost fallacy kind of way.
Yeah, that's pretty much what that is.
Yeah. So, but I don't know. I feel for him. I feel for him more than I thought I would.
For sure.
Yeah.
We do have another SBS. Well, it's time to ask about it. To have that genital question. Boy, oh boy. Where is Gladius's penis capable of bursting too? It is. That's scary.
It is.
It is actually really scary.
Yeah.
Ooh. This one was more interesting, though. It's like, how old is Corazon, and why isn't Sugar present in the flashback scenes of the Doflamingo family? Well, Corazon is 2 years younger than Doflamingo. He was 26 when he died. And Sugar and Monet joined the family after that incident. The two were rescued from terribly misfortunate circumstances by Doflamingo. They were sisters, aged 9 and 17 at the time, and they now dedicate their lives in service to the family. They got their devil fruit powers after joining Doflamingo. Doflamingo really seems to place a heavy focus on the environments in which people were raised, which is what we got from earlier. Something I never realized. I had no idea Monet and Sugar were sisters.
No, yeah, right. There you go.
No indication of that whatsoever. But funny nonetheless. And man, every time I see Monet, I was like, man, I really did love her design.
Yeah, she was a really cool character. I'm kind of sad that she, of all characters, had to go.
Yeah. But the last one is like somebody that has found a very detailed look of Luffy's palm from some piece of art and was like, oh, yeah, this has this line that makes him like, this is why he's so important. He's like, Noda's just like, yeah, sure. Totally intentional. What the hell are
the
you
master
talking
of foreshadowing.
Oh, goodness. Well, it's time to get to our final chapter for the set, 770, The Spear of Elbaf, which caught my attention right away. It's like, oh,
yeah, right. She's like, hey, giants. Yo. Yeah, okay.
And all the while, Jinbei has found the huge mound of offerings underneath the sea. And it looks like, it looks like one is being held by somebody. So there's some sort of giant person. Oh, I know. I think I know what's going on.
Oh.
Just by looking at the size and the shape of it, I don't know what actually happened to them and the fact, but pretty sure they were exiled or something like that. Remember? Oh,
it's Watatsumi?
Yeah, Watatsumi. I think it's Watatsumi.
Yeah. You know what? I'm on board with that.
Just because of the size and everything like that, and mentioning about sea god,
and it's underwater.
Yeah. It could be a completely new character, but it feels like Watatsumi.
Yeah, I could see that.
What that means, I have no idea, but all right.
Yep.
But we get into the chapter itself, and Bellamy is still bouncing all around, and it's like Luffy's just like, there's no reason for me to fight you, and he's like, no, it's fine with me either way. Just stand there if you really think my determination's still that shallow. And we find out that he has hockey.
Yeah.
He has armament hockey, which does a pretty good hit on Luffy, which did shock me. I expected Luffy to just beat him down or like knock him down pretty easily, but no, he actually got a solid hit in. And I think that's all we see of this for this chapter.
Yeah. God. I feel like, just with all that Bellamy's been through, it is kind of nice that, like, even if Luffy is reluctant, he doesn't want to fight, but Bellamy can, he's strong.
Yeah.
He can pack a punch.
He did well for himself, so
yeah.
Good on you, Bellamy. I can't believe how much I've turned around this character that I hated, and it was so satisfying to see get beat down all the way back down, all the way back in Jaya.
Yeah, it's one of the most interesting like character reintroductions, I think, of just somebody who was just like a complete like nothing guy. He's just complete fodder. And Oda has somehow, again, he's been playing the long game with this, like ever since the start of the arc. We're like, oh, Bellamy's here, and then it's just kind of like, oh, that's neat, and then it's, oh, he's he's being, he's trying to be in the Doflamingo family. He's being manipulated, whatever, and just like Doflamingo doesn't care at all.
No,
and for that to kind of seemingly come to a head here near the end of the arc, I think is just a really, really cool bit of storytelling.
Yeah, it definitely is, and. We then move over to Zoro's fight with Pika, which has a crazy visual of out of the back of the first giant Pika stone statue comes another Pika stone statue that pounds into the I think it's the second step. And Zoro gets kind of underneath that. It's like, oh well, he got crushed, and nope, he splits it. No big deal.
Yeah, I love that again. Throughout this fight feels like it's been going on forever.
It really does.
But it's really funny that Zoro doesn't, other than the fact that he can't hit him, he doesn't really seem to be struggling all that much. He's just kind of like, doesn't know when to give in. Like he's fine. He'll be all right.
And they got Pika's minions, the normal members of the family, trying to take part, and kind of distracting Zoro from the fight. But that's when Orlumbus shows up using something called Commodore Dignity that it makes all of them all of a sudden stand up to to attention, which might be related to a devil fruit. I have no idea. But he uses one of them to bowl out the others and knocks them all out. And I love this. I did get a laugh out of this. If I were at sea, I would marshal the forces of my Yanta Maria fleet, Santa Maria, to come to your aid.
Oh! San 3, Yon 4.
Oh my god. Amazing. Alas, I'm undermanned, so you must handle him yourself. He's like, no, I'm sick of that guy raising hell anyway. And that's when Pika's face appears out of the side of one of the steps. And just like his laugh is Pika 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 ya la la la.
Yeah. How does this sound so ridiculous? Even
what the hell was that laugh? Oh, he's becoming the mountain itself. And Zoro just keeps laughing at him, and then he starts sending out.
He's taunting him
to stones and whatnot. It's like, no, I like that you're so huge. The bigger they are, the better they slice. And Dellinger's giving them a hard time. It's like, hey, we're fighting down here too. And
this is all just full chaos at this point.
Yeah, that's when we kind of get into the fact that the gladiators are actually doing rather well. Where the punching, the boxing kind of guy.
I think this is Idio?
Idio, you're right. Uses this destruction cannon and actually is doing all right against Dellinger.
Yeah.
And then we have the confrontation between Sai and Baby 5. It's like, she's just screaming out like, is it because we're enemies? Why don't you just come out and say it? It's like, what are you talking about? Don't pretend you don't know. And we have Sai saying, my blade shall seek out your heart. And she interpreted as, you said, I want your heart. You can't break my grip. It's like, I'll never let you go. Can you follow me at this speed? Will you follow me? Look, if you really want me that badly, then I don't care who I work for. Just say it. You need me, don't you?
I love how,
I so wish she had met Sanji.
I like this interaction, but I think you're right. I think this would have been way funnier with Sanji.
Well, Sanji wouldn't have fought at all, but still, just the fact
that's also true. This
thing.
Poor Sai is just completely like, what on earth is happening right now?
What is up with this girl? And to be fair, he's probably a better guy than most of the ones she's fallen for, so...
That's also true, yeah. But also, I love the idea that this bit goes so far that, like, yeah, she'd be willing to betray the family.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, she did try to kill Doflamingo at the very beginning.
That is also true. So. That was the first thing we saw of her.
Yeah. Weird. But that we move on to Mock Vice, who's like, perfect. That's a good foothold. And I already got the giant down, so who's next? And that's when we see that, it's this I believe his name was Haruden.
Yeah. I think the J is silent. I think it's Haruden.
Haruden, okay.
Yeah.
And Mock Vice spots Zoro walking by, and he's like, even a warrior of Elbaf is helpless against me, so... We get a little bit of backstory for Haruden, which is unexpected. It's like, it's my dream to be the king of all giants. Instead, I lose the match, I get turned into a toy, and when I'm saved, I can't even repay my gratitude. It's pathetic. I sought to repay my debt even if it killed me, so how can I still be alive even after falling? Is that all my gratitude amounted to? And that's when Mock Vice is trying to land on Zoro with his 1,000-ton vice, and Haruden gets up, is like, no, let me handle him. It's like, no, I beat you before, and I'll just get even heavier. The hellish 10,000-ton vice. And it's like, I hope you still got some bones left in you to break, which, oh, good God.
Yeah, right.
That is a lot of weight. Like, let me get out some quick math here. So, what is it, 2,000 pounds per is a ton. So 10,000 tons times 2,000 is 20 million pounds.
Oh my goodness.
20 million pounds is what he's putting down in the weight here, which is insane.
Yes,
and,
that makes this scene all the more hype.
Yes, that's why I wanted to make sure to have that number there, because this is ridiculous. But yeah, He's like, and Harmon is just going, dead men serve no purpose, but one arm left should be good enough to take down an enemy leader. Taste the last of my life. And he uses his Gungnir pit fist to punch right into Machweiss. And he's gritting into his teeth so hard that they're popping out of his mouth.
His bones are breaking. You see his arm and his leg. Just, I love.
This is a Mortal Kombat like X-ray attack.
Yeah, I think what I wasn't expecting was this sequence to be kind of a struggle for him. That it was just like a, like you get a couple of pages of just like that kind of clash between weights, and then he grits through it.
Yeah, he grits through the pain, just trying to really show it. And again, to really emphasize it, 20 million pounds really shows how much, like, why this is happening to him. Because good God,
right? And that it is like that Machweiss is that that dangerous that he can take down a giant with his weight.
Yeah, and
I think is
again incredible. Punches through him, takes care of that shield where he was before, has him knocked out for sure as he's flying out, and he's like, fly away. And I didn't even think about this when he's like, let him fly to the kingdom of the gods. Like, oh no, the bird cage is up there. We just get this like zoom out where you can see that little bit of splitter blood where he went through. He might be dead.
Yeah. He does fall back down.
He does.
Yeah.
He does, but I guess he got stopped by it.
Was in one piece, but yeah. Ugh.
I mean, if this was any other manga, I could just imagine him getting sliced like a grater.
Yeah.
Through that, which, to be honest, would be one of the most badass deaths out there.
Yeah. Even if his body is still in one piece, it is still a surprisingly hype finisher that has almost nothing to do with the rest of the chapter. I was like, no. I was not. I mean, if it weren't for the title, I would not be like, oh yeah, this is where Haruden's gonna get like his time to shine, and we're gonna take down one of the officers. But
that's also a really good point. One of the officers got taken down by a random a gladiator.
Right? Yeah.
That's unheard of. I'm sorry. Other people other than the Straw Hats or somebody closely like. They're not strong. It's not a strong ally there. There's just a bit of gratitude. It's not like the Frankie family or whatever during Water 7 and Enos Lobby. No, this is somebody random getting a victory against the Doflamingo family, which is awesome. It makes me curious about how the others are going to get taken out. Like, which gladiators are going to get hype moments? Yeah,
because it feels like I think that's kind of what we're moving towards, right? Like we only have but so much time left in this arc. And only but so many Straw Hats.
Very much so.
So it feels like we do have to leave room for the gladiators to take down at least some of them.
Yeah, but I like how this ends with him, Haruden collapsing and Zora just saying, "Sleep tight, and when you wake, the cage will be gone." And that's how we end our set. Great. And it's like, oh man. That was cooler than I thought it would be.
That was again. We started this set with such a sad story, and then just kind of started getting more and more exciting. So I really think we're probably just like fights and the end. I think at this point,
pretty much. I can't imagine much else. It really does feel like the next 15 to 20 chapters will be just finishing up the fights. Like I have no idea how long the fight between Luffy and Doflamingo will be, or what kind of again what role Trouble will play in all this. Like Trouble has a role,
definitely
somewhere. What it might be, I don't know, but it'll be fascinating.
Yeah, but it is again just so wild that we're almost at the end.
I can't believe it.
The end is in sight. We got the backstory. We got all this crazy stuff. So, I'm excited. That makes me think that maybe we'll be sub 1 hour next week if it's all fights.
It maybe. I
I
doubt it because it's just not been the case, but
yeah. Unlikely, but
we shall find out, but
I'm having a great time either way.
Yeah. I really like this arc. I've said it many times, but it's true.
It's very true.
But with that, I believe we've said all we've wanted to say about chapters 766 to 770 of One Piece. Thank you so much for listening, and you can find more of my ramblings and stream VODs over at BitNerd Games on YouTube, or simply BitNerd on BlueSky. And Brandon, where can everyone find you at?
I am Brandon Bovia on Twitter and BlueSky, talking about anime, manga, games, and my job, and just been doing more of that. Actually, I've been watching a lot of anime lately. I've been on BlueSky. I've been posting up a storm of like making mini reviews of basically every premiere I've watched.
I mean, you're kind of in heaven, because isn't there like a new Gundam show right now?
Yes, there is. It's called Gundam G-Quux, and it is spelled with 6 U's. And it is an alternate timeline of the original Gundam, basically. What if the bad guys won the war is sort of its initial premise.
I saw a comparison, like a shot on BlueSky, where they showed, like, I've never watched the original Mobile Suit Gundam, but it showed Amuro Ray getting to the Gundam, and it was laying down, he's going through the manual, he's opening it up, and then had the compared it to a shot from this new show where it's Char doing that, getting into it, and it matched up exactly the same.
Shot for shot. Yeah.
Just better.
I feel like kind of buried the lead here. This is made in collaboration with Studio Cora, which is the studio run by Hideaki Anno, the creator of Evangelion. Is the studio that makes the Eva rebuild films.
Damn!
And it is the director of Fooly Cooly.
Yeah, I didn't hear that before. Holy crap!
And it's the character designer is somebody called Take, and they are the character designer from Pokemon Sun and Moon. The games, not the anime. So it's like there's this super like industrial, crazy looking Gundam designs, and then the characters all look like Pokemon characters.
That's amazing.
Really, really wild stuff. Yeah, it is a bonkers project, and so they aired the first 3 episodes in the theater a couple months ago. So I've seen that. I don't know. It's good. Check it out. You might need a little bit of context from the original Gundam if you haven't seen it, but like you can get by, I think.
I've heard that, but I've also I own a Blu-ray set of the entirety of the original Gundam. I've just never sat down to watch it. I should.
I think you would like it. It holds up. The storytelling holds up surprisingly well. Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those things where I wouldn't mind going through all the Gundam series as much as there's a ton of them.
Dude. Yeah. Just complete aside. I have seen all except maybe 5 or 6.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I'm a big fan.
I will say one, it'd be really fun. That'd be a really funny one of us like shifting the podcast after we're done with One Piece. Like, nope, we're going through all the Gundams.
All Gundams.
I don't know if that'd be as much interest in that one, but for upcoming projects, and I'm getting off topic here. I've seen the promotional art and the character design sheets of Science Saru's new Ghost in the Shell. And having it based off the manga, which I've never read, but just those designs and the sort of...
it's jolly.
Like, oh my God, like that throwback.
The thing about... Because I've only read a little bit of the Ghost in the Shell manga. The manga is way goofier than the 90s movie or like any other adaptation of Ghost in the Shell. The manga is fairly like silly.
I saw that in the character sheet where she has this goofy looking face to her.
Yeah, looking face. You're just like, it is. I love that design for the Beiger. So it's Science Saru gets it, man. They just get it. I love that studio.
That face just reminds me of something out of Gunsmith Cats.
Yeah, definitely.
So
yeah, that honestly that's a good kind of ballpark, I think.
I love Gunsmith Cats. So that's all down for me. I'm down.
Yeah, heck yeah.
But thank you for that anime aside. If you'd like to help us out more, you can support the podcast over at patreon.com/Derrick Bittner. That's DerrickBitner to listen to the next episode ad-free 3 days early, as well as patron-exclusive bonus episodes. And make sure to return next time as we discuss chapters 771 to 775 of One Piece. So until then, my friends, bye.
Remember to take life one piece at a time.
Now, even if you rumble around in there, it won't make any noise. I'll see you in the next town, all right? Hey, Law? I love you, kid.